You just yawned, or you're about to, because reading the word yawn is enough to trigger it. You have no say in this. Your brainstem will fire before your mind even registers it. You are being controlled by a signal older than language, older than fire, and you've never once questioned it. For decades, scientists told us contagious yawning was about empathy. You yawn when someone else yawns because you feel with them, a sign of emotional connection, of being a social, caring creature. It's a beautiful idea. It's also almost certainly wrong, because empathy doesn't explain why you yawn when you read about yawning. It doesn't explain why you yawn when you think about it. And it definitely doesn't explain why sociopaths, people clinically lacking empathy, yawn just as contagiously as everyone else. So if it's not empathy, what is it? And why, after millions of years of evolution, does your nervous system still hand control of your face to a stranger across a room? In 2012, a primatologist named Andrew Gallup ran a study on chimpanzees. He showed them videos of other chimps yawning and watched what happened. The chimps yawned back, expected. But here's what wasn't. The contagion was strongest in the troop's most alert members, not the sleepy ones, not the relaxed ones, the vigilant ones. Gallup proposed something that reframes everything. Yawning, the deep, jaw-cracking, eye-watering kind, may be a cortical arousal mechanism. It floods oxygen into the brain. It cools overheated neural tissue. It sharpens focus. And when one animal does it and the group mirrors it automatically, the whole troop wakes up together. Not because they're tired, because something, somewhere, might not be safe. Now, hold that thought, because it's about to get stranger. Contagious yawning appears in dogs, wolves, lions, and chimpanzees, but almost exclusively in social species. Solitary predators don't catch yawns. Only animals that survive in groups do, which means the contagion isn't an accident, it's infrastructure. A signal that jumps body to body without a single word, keeping the whole group calibrated to the same threat level. Children under 4 years old don't catch yawns. Neither do most people with autism spectrum disorder. This wrecked the empathy theory, but it deepens the vigilance theory in a way nobody talks about. Because 4 is roughly when human children begin tracking group dynamics. Who's watching? Who's alert? Who's distracted? The moment you become socially aware of the group, the yawn signal switches on. You don't catch yawns until you understand, unconsciously, that your safety depends on the people around you. Pause for a second. You are not an individual having a reflex. You are a node in a network, and right now, that network is still running ancient firmware designed for predators that no longer exist. The most contagious yawns happen between people with the closest social bonds. You catch yawns faster from friends than acquaintances, faster from family than strangers. The closer the relationship, the more your nervous system trusts their alarm, which means when someone yawns and you yawn back without thinking, you are not being polite. You are telling your body, I trust this person's nervous system more than my own. That is not empathy. That is something older and stranger and far more intimate. Think about the last time you sat in a meeting, a lecture, a quiet room, and someone yawned. You felt it move through the group like a wave. You assumed it was boredom or tiredness or just the hour. But your brainstem wasn't bored. It was checking. It was receiving a signal that said, stay sharp, something may require us, and passing it forward without asking your permission. You do this in traffic, in airports, in quiet apartments at 2 a.m. when you hear a sound you can't name. Your body is still doing threat calculus for a world full of predators. The open plan office is a savanna, the yawn is a flare, and you have been firing it at each other your entire life, in boardrooms, classrooms, first dates, without ever knowing what you were saying. Here's the question that has no clean answer. If your most intimate social signal, the one that passes between people who trust each other completely, was never about emotion at all, what else are you broadcasting to the people you love without knowing it? And what are they sending back, right now, beneath the conversation, beneath the eye contact, beneath everything you think you understand about being close to another person?